Hi colleagues, I'm back this week with an update for you just on a few things. We've got 5 things to cover off tonight. That's the funding circular. I've got a bit about the independent prescribing circular, emergency care summary, access and the phone line for that, NHS Pharmacy First consultations, and also just a brief word about Community Pharmacy Scotland's first virtual council meeting. So firstly, the funding circular is out. At last, you may well say, but it is out, and gives you the details of the financial arrangements for the next 3 years. And it's on our website for your consideration. To make it a bit clearer, we've produced the financial framework that supports that. And those details, they're in the bio to this video. And as I say, they're on our website if you want to have a look at that. I have to say I'm really pleased that we've managed to secure a 3-year deal, especially with the pandemic situation that we now find ourselves in. So it gives us some form of security to be able to plan ahead over the next 2.5 years that remain. Also released this week is the Career Framework and Independent Prescribing Circular that we've been working on. And it introduces for independent prescribers NHS Pharmacy First Plus. That encourages independent prescribing from your community pharmacy. Now the detail and the service requirements and the specification are in the circular, so please have a look at that. Now that's part of a joint Scottish Government Community Pharmacy Scotland strategy to grow the number of independent prescribers in Scottish community pharmacies. And my NEST colleagues will be writing very soon to highlight the upcoming IP courses that the 2 Scottish schools of pharmacy will be producing and allowing you to partake within. So I really encourage you that if you want to be an independent prescriber, and you aren't currently, please apply. I'm working on securing you funding, backfill funding, to make that attendance a lot easier for you. But now that we have that service, NHS Pharmacy First Plus, for you to use your independent prescribing cells in community pharmacy, it really makes sense. And ultimately you can see, I hope, where it's going to be a necessary skill in your armoury to be a community pharmacist. Now I mentioned there NHS Pharmacy First, and we've had a lot of inquiries regarding what constitutes a consultation under this service lately. That's certainly been our biggest route of inquiry and numbers of inquiries into us. So to be able to record a consultation, you have to have a conversation about the patient's symptoms, an assessment of those symptoms, and agree treatment and or a course of action, because it may be advice you give at the end of that. Now that definition is in the service specification and the directions for NHS Pharmacy First. Now CPS, we are going to prepare some more communication on this in the very near future, so look out for that coming into your inboxes and your pharmacies. Now the temporary dedicated emergency care summary access line that was put in place by NHS 24 is being withdrawn from Friday the 21st of August, so from next Friday. Now that's due to a significant reduction in the demand for access to that number, and because you now have the facility to access from your pharmacy the emergency care summary. So if you don't have an ECS login, could you please contact your local IM&T facilitator or their team to get ECS access from your pharmacy. And why I think that's so important, because I'm now about to move on to give the thanks to everybody who completed the ECS survey we ran. We've produced an infographic from that we will use to campaign for continued access to ECS, as it clearly demonstrates patient benefit and improved safety. My final point for you tonight was that CPS has held its first virtual council meeting over Teams. That was yesterday. And one of the main topics that we did talk and consider was about electronic paperless prescribing. Now, that's just an attempt to ensure that your role in it isn't forgotten in the process, And we've got an opportunity to influence how that works for you in an end-to-end, and that's if, or maybe even if I say when, that whole process is kicked off. So we're trying to get ahead of the game and get your thinking and your considerations into that environment. So it's really just to reassure you that we're on top of those things I've talked about tonight. To thank you again for everything that you're doing and supporting the patients and the community pharmacy network across Scotland. And hopefully this time, it will be Matt that's back next week, because I forgot he was on holiday the last time, but he'll be back with an update for you next week. All the best.